So, hello everybody, and welcome to a new podcast episode. This is my first English podcast episode, and this one's gonna be like ultra super duper exciting because today I will talk with Emma Swain about sexuality, about women, about connection, about intimacy. So, hello Emma.
Hello, Eric. Thank you for having me on your first ever English podcast. This is so exciting.
Yes, I'm also really super excited. I feel like this is gonna be like a super fun podcast. But let's first start, Emma. Let's first start like with you. Who is Emma Swain, or what do you do? Like, give us a short introduction.
So, Emma Swain is a vast topic, but what I do, I am a sensual embodiment coach and energy healer. And basically, I created a method to help people drop into their bodies and empower themselves energetically to really take their impact and their purpose into the world. So, we mix tantra, energy psychology, and my own method into really allowing people to really embody, be present, and then be in their power.
Yes, that sounds really fun. And some of you might know that I have been working together with Emma for like the past 3 months, like in those topics she just told you about. And now I want to ask you, Emma, and you can talk like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes about it because I think it's like one of the most remarkable things about you. And tell us your story. What's your story?
So, my story is also rather vast, but the long and the short is I decided to do what I do because I came from a very religious upbringing. My parents were international pastors, and sexuality was a big taboo. And if you've ever seen me or you know me, you'll probably recognize pretty fast I'm quite a sensual character. I'm very feminine energy. And I went through a vast amount of abuse and pain and trauma around it, which led me to basically 3 or 4 years ago having a suicide attempt where I was basically at my end. And I had multiple organ failure, I had ovarian failure, just condensed, densified energy, and no way of seeing how I could move forward. I successfully failed at suicide, which really killed my ego a little bit more at that point. But I came through it and I started to realize the power of mindset and then working with source and purifying the vessel. And as I went through this process of unbecoming all of the societal conditioning, shame, fears, programming, all of it, I started to detox and then rewire. And that was when I discovered Tantra, I discovered energy healing. And at that point, I healed my whole body energetically. I started understanding somatic healing work, and then I started understanding the power of orgasm, the power of pleasure, the power of connecting with God, source, becoming magnetic. And it spiraled my life to where I am now, where I have an amazing global healing journey around me, the most amazing clients, and I'm able to teach, heal, and practice, and also have the most wild life ever. I would say I'm in a full-time relationship with the universe. And sometimes it fucks me real good. Other times I need a safe word and I'm like, please no more. But it's the most incredible, extraordinary human experience. And this is my wish for the entire planet to have it too.
Yes, awesome story. So what I find so remarkable about this story is basically like Emma, she was like really rock bottom, you could say. Like really like drug addicted, suicide attempt, like multiple suicides, like in the surrounding, like everything, multiple organ failures, multiple surgeries, like basically every bad stuff you can imagine, like Emma had. And this was like 2, 3, 4 years ago or something like that.
Mhm.
And funny story, like how did I meet Emma? I met Emma through a friend, and and basically we met in Bali. And like Emma is like one of the most joyful persons ever, like one of the most joyful, like light-hearted, um, loving persons ever. So to meet, and like this journey, like from like suicide attempt, like drug addicted, like multiple organ failures, like multiple surgeries, like to this state of being, like in like 2, 3 years or something like that, is really remarkable. And that's why I wanted to pick it up the story. So just so you know who you're talking to. So she really knows her stuff. And today we'll talk about a woman, about sexuality, about intimacy, about connection. So my first question is, what's the problem with today's sexuality? Like how sexuality and intimacy is practiced like today in like the normal society. What's the problem? What's the issue?
I would say the first thing that always lands for me when we're looking at the present matrix system is that it is governed by a large amount of immature masculine energy. What many people don't understand is that us as human beings, we have inner polarities. We all have an inner man and an inner woman. And in that inner man and inner woman, there's an immature and a mature. So we all have a mature masculine and immature masculine, a mature feminine and immature feminine within us. Today's society has maximized the immature masculine, which is goal-orientated, aggressive, fixing the problem, defending, warrior. And that comes into our sexuality on our internal levels. We're goal-orientated. We don't make a lot of time for ourselves. We don't hold space for our emotions. And then also the external. So how are we seeking intimacy and love? Well, there's high levels of pornography. It's a quick fix. It's trying to get it over and done with. We've lost the sacredness. We've lost the mature masculine, which is presence. And we have disregarded so much of the feminine in our ability to actually receive. And one time I see again and again with men and in sexuality is we equate intimacy and depth of connection with sex. And so there's a lot of people having sex and basically going super deep into their fields and realizing they end up drained, they end up hurt, or they end up feeling used, and their energy is leaking. And so we over-sexualize, we desensitize, and then we end up feeling depleted when sexuality and sensuality is really there to fulfill us, to build us into our power, and to connect us into source. It is the energy that can bring a life into this planet. It's a powerful energy. And because we have conditioned ways of perceiving it, most of us are disrespecting or disregarding major parts of ourselves, firstly, and then reflecting that into the other with our partners and the way we see the world. So we're actually feeling depleted energetically around the topic of sexuality and sensuality with shame and fear and conditioning, rather than actually letting it be the thing that maximizes our life force energy.
Awesome. So one question, what's the issue with porn? Why can't I just watch porn and enjoy it?
Firstly, I'm going to land this that I really pray that whatever anyone ever does, they do it in joy and that they are in joy. I would say a big thing around pornography is if we really get real about it, we're not in joy when we're doing it, when we're watching it. We're usually in shame. We're usually in a level of guilt. We're usually in a level of neediness or desire or numbness, depending on the level and where you're at in pornography. It usually isn't actually coming from a heart space of, I feel seen, I feel complete, I feel joy, I feel empowered. That's usually not the energy of watching pornography. Now, that would be my first thing with porn is that's the energy you're entering into. Pornography also is a mind-body connection, meaning that you are stimulating your body and embodying those emotions into your field, into your physical body, which means that you're going to have a neurobiological chemical response of shame, guilt, fear, and neediness when it comes to sex and overstimulation. Along with that, it also desensitizes the energetics of sex and sexuality. So porn will usually show a scene of climax, and it can get, depending on the levels of pornography, pretty intense. And because it stimulates the brain, we tend to go deeper and deeper and deeper, which actually desensitizes us more and more and more into pretty horrific imagery if people get super into it. What it's taken away is the meditation and the ability to have sex and our bodies and our pleasure to connect to our higher energy zones. Porn is mind and cock, or mind and yoni, or pussy. So we're here and we're here. The heart usually doesn't have a big role, and connecting to source and allowing life to channel through is blocked. So we're basically desensitizing ourselves biologically, neurologically, and spiritually. And that's often what creates a big block in our field. Then we go out into the world and we have a belief system embodied around sexuality given to us by porn. And what we believe, we perceive. And so we end up perceiving. And we keep wondering why we're feeling shallow, or we have these hot, heavy moments and then there's nothing afterwards. But there's so much incomplete energetics and so much brokenness in the perception of sexuality that we have stored in our body that we can't break that cycle. And so we start to believe that's all there is. And that disconnects us from our faith. That disconnects us from love. It disconnects us from our hearts. And ultimately, it blocks us from receiving our desires. So for me, long answer, but porn is a very densified energy when we are trying to move into openness of life and receiving and pleasure through the body.
Yes, yes, definitely. I also like give a little like input. Like I was also like watching porn regularly, like not really daily, but regularly, so to say. And then I started together with Emma. I started working together, and now I didn't like watch porn like for the last 3 months or something. And what I can tell you, like porn really does kill your cock feeling connection. I call it. Basically, it desensitizes you really, really strongly, so that like during sex you don't feel anything because you're like so disconnected from your cock. You're like really desensitized, and then you're like having like sex, and then you are like, oh, I don't feel anything. That's like not as cool as I imagined sex to be. And
Yeah.
then you have basically like sex in the mind, but not in the body. So that's like yeah, like the biggest takeaway for me, like in my transformation. So to speak. Okay, let's say the sex that is portrayed in like pornography is the current status quo. Let's paint a picture. What is like an awesome example of intimacy, connection, and sex? Like what can it look like? What are like the possibility? What's like the future?
You know, the one thing I absolutely love working with men is the heart of the masculine. Every time you speak to a man who's really embodied and wants to pleasure a woman, you will hear them in their deepest of beliefs being like, I want to fuck her to God. I want her to scream. I want her to be on her knees in awe. I want her to be dripping for me. Men deeply desire that level of being seen. They deeply desire it. And the crazy thing is women deeply desire to feel safe enough to be that for a man. If you look at polarities, the feminine loves to devote and serve, and the masculine loves to provide and be seen and be in their power. Sex is the basic union of union. It's the basic dropping point of where we come together. And oftentimes when I talk to to men when I first start working, I'm like, yeah, so like women have like 13 types of orgasm, and usually it's at least like a 6-hour process. And to me, I'm like, oh, it's so normal. Of course a pleasure practice would be 6 hours. And a lot of people are like, and it took me time to realize, like, yeah, the statistics today are literally like 5 minutes until climax. And it's something I have to like re-go back on in my mind and be like, wow, why? We haven't actually learned what it's possible to be in pleasure. But to paint a picture, when we come in a sexually and sensually embodied union together as a couple, and these are two individuals now that are coming in who are in their practice, what you're going to find is the first thing is you're connecting on a soul level. You're seen. I don't know how many people on this planet have truly felt seen, where it's like, wow, I see you, you see me, I see the divine in you, but there's actually a stillness. And you start to move into understanding you're a part of something bigger, that this experience is going to really bring a life of sorts and energy in, that you're creating that together. There's a reverence. You're able to speak about it and talk. So much of sex these days is like, we saw each other, we hooked up, it was sexy, he fucked me over the sink. Boom. Okay, it sounds wild, but was it that great? Imagine if we sat and were able to really speak and be like, this is my deepest shadow, this is my desire, this is what I'm calling in, this is what this means to me. This is what I desire after sex, my aftercare, my emotional state. how many men feel leaky energy from women after sex, where it's like, oh, I feel her in my field. We haven't created safety. Once we are in these levels, there's a reverence and an awe, an emotion, a surrender that takes place. When the feminine feels truly seen and safe, she drops to her knees. Her body gets wet. When a man is truly empowered and knows he's anchored in his cock, he's able to receive that level. A woman crying at his feet, going deeply into his body, grabbing him, receiving him. He's able to hold his semen. He's able to be empowered and breathe that energy in and not just like spill out, but actually anchor it. You're able to go into lovemaking where you're not ashamed if you get a hard on, if you go soft, if she's wet, if she isn't, because you know it's a journey together. And every wave is going to take you to a new depth, and it's a whole experience of sensation. And you're able as men to know you can anchor that and create that.
Yes, yes. So tantric sex is like up to 6 hours, I think, or like maybe even longer. Like, how do I fill up those 6 hours? What do I do like 6 hours? Tell us.
So the first thing is as I said, a lot of pornography, sex is like the climactic sex moment.
Yeah.
And tantric sex is about opening up your sensations and meeting each other on all of your fields. So there's three parts in all of life. I call it the foreplay, the climactic experience, and the meditation. And you really get to have this in all aspects of your life. To be honest, when like all these spiritual people say make life a meditation, it's all of it. So in a tantric sexual experience, you have your foreplay. Foreplay starts with awakening your senses. It's getting sensational. There is a huge amount of sexual energy that builds and charges when you don't touch someone. It's sexy. I often say when a woman is embodied and a man's really in his power and turned on and watches her, you can start to dance. It is so juicy when your woman is so safe in her body, she starts to strip for you. You move into eye connection, looking at each other, seeing each other. You synchronize your breaths. Our bodies, our central nervous system synchronize when we feel safe. And you're able to actually start to move intuitively and energetically connect, which opens your energetic field. Women are multi-orgasmic. We can have orgasms from no touch at all. When our body feels safe enough and we're breathing with a man, we can go into a full orgasmic spasm, which literally is the eye roll back, feet curl. And may I just say, for a man, if you are aware of the power you have and you're so deep in your cock that a woman's eye starts rolling back and she spasms just being in front of your cock, it's like a next level experience. Can testify. It's the best. It is the dream. And this is like before you've even kissed. You are building up a charge of fucking energy that's like, oh my God. You can then move into breast massage. Most guys, straight for the nipples, in while you're hooking up. It's like this, like, oh, this huge thing. It's a woman's heart. It's a woman's heart. Most of us women have never experienced a man going slow, but because the feminine is gentle, when a man starts to gather our energy, we start to activate in ways sometimes we never knew were possible. I had no idea about this shit until I started practicing it just with myself and feeling like gathering my energy on my hand. And I was like, something's happening here after having zero sex drive. For a man, because you're powerful, you get to play with your strength and gentleness on a woman's body. You get to watch her eyes dilate when you grab her. You get to see her relax and melt, and that's before you even get to her shoulders. At this point, you can be in that zone for easily an hour. If you have a woman who's stripping for you and dancing for you, get a fucking good playlist and put it for at least 30 minutes. You're going to want her to have fun. You can be doing all that you need to, breathing into your cock, getting stimulated, and also feeling the divine experience of a woman getting super activated from you watching her. We love being seen. The feminine, the biggest thing, do you see me? Am I pretty? Am I sexy? Do I turn you on? Every little girl. Do you like my dress? Do you like my flowers? It's the feminine. Most men don't realize how powerful that is, but how empowering it is for the masculine too, to be so centered in who you are that you know your presence is enough to make that woman come on the floor. Super cool.
Yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Like just one question. Like you talk a lot about like feminine and masculine energies. Like what is feminine energy? What is masculine energy? What are like the traits? Yeah, give us a short introduction.
Okay, so yes, in the beginning, we dropped in that we all have an inner man and an inner woman.
Yeah.
However, in relationships and sex, it is polarized, meaning there's usually a man or a woman, or there are partners where one is more masculine, one is more feminine in the connection. They do not particularly subscribe to a gender, but I, especially with Tantra, refer it into men and women. But if you're non binary, work with me. We're here for it. The masculine is what I call the yang energy. It is the light, it is the ascendant, it is the one that is always seeking more growth, expansion, vision. There's also the immature masculine, which is defending, fighting, and fixing, constantly wanting to fix everything, not feeling completely enough, not feeling fully worthy, really wanting that like power. The feminine is the chaos, the yin, the darkness, the moon. It is the emotions. It is the present, gentle, nurturing states. It's also the manipulation, the sassiness, the naughtiness, the deviousness. And so there's the shadow side of the feminine. And when you're having a sexual connection, what you want to know is that we're all going to be having both, and there's no right or wrong. You get to play with polarity to build sexual tension over time and space so that when you come into divine union, which is when the two become one flesh or we enter into sex, you're able to enmesh all of those energies in safety. The immature feminine that's playing the hard to get, the immature masculine that's dominating and aggressive, the mature feminine that's nurturing and opening and softening, the mature masculine who's present and in awe and holding space. They get to come together. And when you've built that polarity through play and foreplay and tension and communication, and then being in your bodies and being seen at that level, and you come into sex, it's what I call an orgasmic wave. As you enter inside, it's a power of like, oh, this is so much more than two bodies. This is so much more than two bodies and two minds. This is so much more than two bodies, two minds, and two emotional fields. This is a divinity. This is a once in a lifetime moment here between us. And you get to actually fall into your flow of power. And very often I say like, what is the difference between like sex and tantric sex? It's the intention and the energy that you feel within you. One thing that I can definitely say is the feminine is more intuitive and energetic, and the masculine is more visual and present moments. So I find it like with sex positions, you know, a lot of people like, for instance, doggy style, and it's great. It's like face down, ass up, all the rap songs, like la la la, just on her back, super cool, poof. But what I've heard many times, and I'm sure many of us have experienced, the man feels like he's either just like fucking something or looking away to have a memory to just be inside. And for him, it feels quite depleting. It's like, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah, like a machine.
yeah, literally like a machine. And for a woman, we feel it too. It's like, wow, he's not with me. I'm just being used. However, there's this like mental desire of this crazy, intimate sexual connection. Where's that disconnect and how can we change it? How can we shift that? Because let me tell you, doggy style is a deeply powerful energy. It's his crown, your energy, up through your cock, into her root, straight down into her crown. That energy cycle is actually super powerful. You're channeling energy there on a 90-degree angle. Scientific. So how can we create intimacy? When we feel seen, when we feel gathered, when a body is warmed up, when central nervous systems are regulated, when there's a reverence that the person in front of you isn't just a person, they're a divine being. They have an entire lifetime moving through them. They have the power of life stored within them. The act that you're entering into could bring a life into this world. There's a reverence. When you look at your man's cock as a woman, it is an honor to have someone's full life force here for you, wanting to penetrate you. As a man, when you look at a woman's yoni, you're looking at a portal that brings a soul into this world. You're looking at every energy that she's ever had, that she's bled, that she's stored, that she's had embodied, and she's opening up into her most vulnerable spaces and saying, enter me. There's such a reverence that comes when we understand this, that they're more than just the person or the projection you have.
Yes. Really, really, really awesome. Really awesome. What does the feminine need from the masculine in order to be fully in her feminine power?
So good. Rule number 1 in Tantra, and I will say this time and time again, going slow. We need slow, gentle love. Where the masculine, I always say, and men, it's like fire. So think of your cock. You just light that match and wow, we are heated, daddy. On just a biological level for women, we can take anywhere between 5 to 40 minutes to actually engorge, which means our pussy becomes engorged with blood and it opens and it becomes wet. Oftentimes, we try and play in our sexual connections with men the masculine game. Oh, he's horny, I'm horny, let's hop on it, let's go. We're not awakened, we're not fully open, we're not fully seen. So actually we detach and we armor and we stop feeling pleasure, and a man directly plugs into that energy and they start feeling numbness and nothing too. So what the feminine needs, and ultimately actually what the masculine needs, is to create the safety, the time, and the space to really awaken and nurture and let her melt. The feminine is like water. Most of us as women are ice blocks. We are frozen. We are closed. We have been traumatized by different mindsets, by our own flow, by our lack of connection to our bodies. We're cold. And a lot of guys, they'll literally say it, it's like fucking a wall. Like, it's like you're just not getting anywhere. Like, you're just not. And for women, do you know how much that breaks our hearts? Because the deepest desire of a feminine that's actually soft and embodied is to be devoted, is to be a portal of pleasure, is to bring you your desires, is to worship you and love you. It's so incredible. I've had moments with lovers where I just cry because I'm like, it's such an honor to like let you feel this pleasure, let you feel this rage release, let you move through this through my body. Like, it's so beautiful. But we need the space to feel safe enough to let you enter that level through us. We are portals. And so for men, one thing I can absolutely say is you need to build an infrastructure in yourself where you feel safe in being present. Most men don't. They think they need to fix a problem or do something. And so building the inner infrastructure to know I am safe in my presence, I'm safe and connected in my cock, I am worthy of receiving, just being who I am is enough, is the start. And when you enter with a woman, bringing that into the connection so that she feels safe to start to melt, safe to start to show you her depths, safe to actually open up fully. And once you're there, you go into the body. And again, the body is a mirror of your inner energetics. You go slow. You give her time and space. And if you're super horny and you want to fuck when you get home from work, give her a heads up. Let her prepare. Be like, babe, I'm just letting you know I'm coming back from the office and I'm hot for you. I'll be there in an hour. Give her space so that she can be like, he's coming home in an hour. I can drop in and put my music on, do a little breast massage, activate my body, look in the mirror. So when you come home, she's ready to receive you. Otherwise, you come home hot and heavy, and your girl's like, do not come home and fuck me. Like, please. And there's rejection. We can actually heal that and create a safety for pleasure.
Yes, awesome, awesome. So the most important thing for the feminine is to be is that the masculine is present, has like a strong, strong, strong presence. How do I build as a man a strong presence?
So I call it the pyramid. We've gone through it before. Step one is clearing your mind. There is so many different ways, and this is something I unpack a lot, and 3 months never feels like the full amount of time of clearing the mind from your mental constructs of what you think you should be. How often do men, when they want to be present, you're thinking of all the things you need to do and what you're not doing and what's good enough, and is your cock going to work, and is it present, and I saw this porn thing and my friend said this and this happened here, and you're coming in with all of this mindset, from pornography to fears to insecurities to the last time we fucked to like, and you're just starting to penetrate because men are like, okay, I just need to take aligned action and I need to fuck that problem straight up. I'm in warrior mode. And then you're in your head. You're in your head and she feels it and she closes. So clearing your mind, there's multiple incredible techniques. Of course, big one for me in tantra is sublimation, actually connecting your mind and your cock with your heart and your breath, learning to love your soft cock, learning to communicate about your cock openly with your partner, and learning how to be connected to him as a part of you, speaking to him, building a relationship, building it in your system. From there, it's definitely that connection point. Learn to love your body, not because you're judging it as sexy or ugly. That's still a judgment. It's just listening intuitively to what your body is telling you. Do I feel safe as a man to be fully here? Do I feel safe with myself? Do I feel this container is actually what I want to give my power to? Many men are so programmed to just fuck. It's like, oh, there's an opportunity, go for it, bro. That you're disrespecting your body and your sexual energy and your soul connection. When you start to connect in, you might actually feel a no. And this is such a beautiful moment for men to come into their power, to be like, I can say no and it's safe. My body didn't feel a yes. Suddenly then, when you are with a woman where you feel a yes, she's going to feel it. She's going to feel worthy. She's going to feel valuable. She's going to feel seen, and she's going to feel you can support and hold her. A woman can tell a man who's connected to his cock a mile away. Tantric men, it's like magnetic. You can just feel it, like that man's in his cock. And once you're there, you can take your embodied energy and penetrate the feminine. You can go in and hold that space and feel worthy to do it. You can receive her love and not feel a defense mechanism come up. And you can enter into practices that you've learned through your own body to really intuitively deepen into a journey of love and pleasure with her.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So the feminine needs presence from the masculine. What does the masculine need from the feminine in order for the masculine to step fully into the power?
I would say the biggest yearning of the masculine is to feel seen and honored and really validated and devoted to. The masculine will do a lot, but what I find time and time again is they literally want to feel seen and loved and supported and honored and trusted. And they look for that. They look for that intimacy in sex. And oftentimes that's exactly where you'll find it in the right sex, and exactly where you will embody deep wounding with the wrong sex. And the feminine is able to give that to the masculine when we feel safe, and we feel safe in the banks of your presence, where we feel you're holding us. You cannot control us. God knows my inner man has tried to figure out my inner woman. It's a journey of a lifetime. We need the presence and the banks for the flow of energy to move. And when you can provide that, we can give to you our all, our love, our devotion, our full spectrum, our sassiness, our sex, our depth, and we give you the space to plug in and receive that too, in those levels, knowing you're worthy to receive it. And that's where you find that balanced polarity in divine union. And what happens thereafter, it's something that you will want to be in waves in for hours because it's so beautiful. It's so pure. It's so like raunchy and wild and all of the like things and the positions, but it's pure. It's real. And that is what we get to be in love, whether it's a one night stand or a 10-year relationship. It's the energetics coming together to be met in the present moments. And when you've mastered that, whether you're a divine fuckboy or a divine businessman and you're looking for a committed relationship, it doesn't matter at that point. There's no right or wrong. You're bringing in an energy that is so empowering to both that you will find God in your pleasure.
Yes, awesome, awesome. What would you say, what keeps most people from really connecting on a deep level? Like what are like the biggest male and female intimacy blockers? What keeps them from really connecting deeply during sex? Also like to themselves. Yeah.
I would say the biggest one, two. One, fear of rejection. Two, believing you're not worthy of receiving. The masculine fears rejection, the feminine fears not being worthy. And we both have both in us. So it's not to say that a woman won't fear rejection or a man won't fear not being worthy. We will have both. But very often, what I found with men is they're so scared of being rejected, they would rather just take and penetrate and just go all in and then leave. And a woman is so scared that she will not be received or be worthy in her frequency, in her body, in her sexual energy, in her emotions, that she'll fake it. That she'll just put on a screen that's like, this is obviously what makes me worthy in the world. This kind of makeup, these kind of sounds, this kind of lingerie, this whatever it is. And it becomes a walled mask of fast penetration and exiting to just peek and leave. And then feeling this like fakeness to be like, okay, maybe he'll come back if he thinks that I'm loving it. And both parties actually end up being really miserable or at minimum slightly lost. Like it's like, yeah, we have good sex. It's soulless. It's special. It's not sacred. Or sometimes it just happens. And there's this breakdown in what I believe is the God energy within us. Because God created sex, or life created creation to bring new life. And sex is the pinnacle of that. So it's almost like in those acts, we lose the divinity of life itself. And there's a depth that comes into our heart space that feels so broken. And the shadow side of that is then what we do to try fill that emptiness. Pornography, eating, shopping, cheap sex, slanging off people, gossiping, bitching, all these different things to try to cover the fact that we in ourselves have a deep soul betrayal. That there's a God force in us that feels betrayed because of that loss that we know we could find there, but we're losing it. And so when we can meet our fears, the opposite of fear is faith. When we can hope for something that we haven't seen, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. When we can start to create faith around our fear of rejection or our fear of unworthiness, like maybe I won't reject myself. How can I not reject myself? Well, okay, let's explore that. Or maybe I can feel worthy of receiving. How can I do that for me today? We build an inner union that then magnetizes an outer union. The world is our mirror. You start to meet people who are like, hey, can we talk about that? It starts there, communication. Then you enter into a connection. It's different to what you ever experienced. Maybe you didn't have sex at all, but it was the deepest moment you've ever had. Maybe saying no was the most profound sexual experience of your life. For sure for me. So these things build out, if that makes sense.
Yes, definitely. And as you might realize or observe, like sexuality is a portal to inner work or to shadow work, so to say, because you can only love someone as much as you love yourself. And you can only connect to someone on a deep level if you can connect to yourself on a deep level. So sexuality, tantra, connection, intimacy is like one of the biggest portals to consciousness work, to inner work. And that's what we always get back to. So that's pretty funny. So guys, do the inner work. Do the inner work.
And then you have multi-orgasmic experiences. I'm like, it's
Yes.
the best thing ever.
Yes. Raise your consciousness. Your presence is just a byproduct of consciousness, and then everything will fall in place. So let's get a little practical. So let's say I'm a man. I'm a man, and I fuck a
Really?
lot. I hypothetically speaking, let's say I have sex like with a lot of girls, but every time I have sex, I feel like numbness. I feel like,
Mhm.
oh, I thought, okay, like in my head it was all nice, but now I fuck her, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't really. I don't really feel too much. I feel kind of numb. I'm actually
Mhm.
thinking about how I get like out of the house. I'm thinking about work tomorrow. I'm thinking about the meetings. I'm thinking about
Mhm.
the things I want to accomplish. Like I just feel numb.
Mhm.
Like what is like a simple 3-step process in order to stop feeling numb and start feeling sensations again?
May I ask for clarity? Do you want
Yes.
that in your sexual experience with that woman or post the sexual experience with the woman?
Both. But let's start with the first one in the sexual experience with the woman.
In the sexual experience with the woman, ask yourself this question first and foremost before you put your beautiful wand of fire and light inside her. Is she icy? Because if you're fucking an ice block, you're gonna go numb. Step one for my men, get into your head not so much about how am I going to perform or are we going to have sex. Remove the goal and ask yourself, is this woman an ice block or is she heated and actually really dripping for me? If you can clear your mind before you enter into that situation, whether it's a 10-minute fuck or a 3-hour amazing or 6-hour session, you're going to do a lot to help your cock not feel numb. Step number 2 is once you're there, connect in with the bodies. How can you create a steamier or warmer experience for both of you? So very often, like we said, men fear of rejection, in, cock out. You're plugging in your energy, you're ejaculating, you're losing your life force, you're putting it all into probably some icy waters, and then you're pulling out, and it's like, whoo, wow, and I'm drained. A second thing that happens post sex is that if you haven't completed the energy cycle with the woman, she's energetically attached to you and she's going to be subconsciously draining your energy field. She's going to be draining your energy. She's going to be in your field. And that can create numbness in your cock because a man who doesn't want to be connected to a draining woman disconnects. He cuts off connection. If she's still connected to your cock, you're going to disconnect from your cock. So during intimacy, out of your mind, connect in, see how you can warm her up. What can you do for both of you to warm her up, to get her excited, to get her fun? And there are those techniques. Ask her to strip for you, kiss her slowly, don't touch her, build the tension, tell her what you want to do to her, but don't let her come near you yet. Start to build her because you're going to see her mind is going to get her out of her head of, oh, great, he's brought me home to fuck me. Now it's, oh, he's brought me home to play. Like, women aren't stupid. We know, like, the end result. We're aware. I mean, depending, but if it's a hookup, it's a hookup. You can feel it. We're going to have sex. But we want the game. We want the game. Men get more empowered and more fiery when they're like, wow, I can play the game. Men love it. A good challenge. Like, give yourself a game. And then afterwards, when you enter and leave with reverence. Before you just push in, witness her yoni, witness her pussy, witness your cock. Like, don't be ashamed in those moments. If you're gonna have sex, watch and see. These are bodies. This is really, wow, like ratchetly wonderful, like so messy, it's gorgeous. Enjoy it. And then when you leave, honor it. Say thank you. Like, thank your cock. Be like, whoo, for my boy. If he went soft, honor him. Be like, wow, you weren't feeling that energy. I'm proud of you. Like, you pulled out. Honor whatever your cock does. Honor him and be like, hey, you're now in the role here, baby. And afterwards, even if it's a quickie or a one night stand, you're not going to feel that numbness in the experience, and most certainly not with the woman, because you're going to be having a fun challenge. You're going to be having a game. You're going to, whether it's your long-term partner or not, it's present moment. The body responds now. They get excited. They're like, oh, we're like puppies, we're playing, and they activate. Post an experience. So for instance, we haven't gone through this wonderful step process of clearing your mind, activating the body, and then penetrating with reverence. You've acquired an incredible ice block. She's beautiful and wonderful, but she hasn't been heated and melted, and we honor that because women have gone through a lot. I get icy to this day, and it takes me time, depending on my period cycle and where I'm at, to melt myself. We will. I might be like, oh, that one. But say you have, and afterwards you feel numbness in your cock. A beautiful way for a man to go back in is go into a practice where you actually take your cock in your hand like a bro, like a man to man, other hand to your heart, and ask as you breathe, what are you telling me? Ask your cock, like, what are you telling me right now? We forget that we are in our bodies and we're a part of our bodies, but they're also biological animals that are doing a lot for us without our awareness, 95% of the brain. Most men are like, fuck, my cock's numb now, like something's wrong, like, I don't know, judging it, belittling it, manning it up, comparing it. They're not asking it. Why do you feel numb? What are you telling me? I have found many times when a man sits, cock in hand, cock to heart, eyes closed, breathing, and says, hey, what's going on? You're going to get an answer. You're going to hear something. That's the minute that you connect your heart, your brain, and your dick back together, and you can start to build a relationship there. And you know what you might hear? Dude, I didn't want that either. Why can't you say no? Why can't you respect me? Your feminine energy could go into your cock and get numb and become an ice block. And so that's that moment. Then you start to build a relationship and be like, hey, next time, what can I do differently? Your momentum shifts.
Yes, and that's a really, really, really damn important point, because like we as men, we, like, I speak for myself, we like always think like, oh yes, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it, but we are really stuck in our minds. And if we really would listen to our bodies would oftentimes tell us, no, bro, take it slowly, be careful, you don't have to do this. And because we like are conditioned by society, or we want to have like a high body count, we want to be like the playboy, we want to be like the fuckboy, or I need to like check it off my box, I need to like go straight to sex, and then like I'm done, like chops, I'm texting my friends, yeah, just hooked up with another girl, I'm awesome. But if we actually would listen to our bodies would oftentimes tell us, maybe no, take some more time, do it that way. So
Yeah.
that's really, really powerful. Then let's jump a little bit, and let's go like to the other side. And the other side is like, I mean like the possibilities of sex. How can we use sex for non-ordinary states of consciousness? What is possible? What?
Oh,
Yes. Go ahead.
like my best topic ever. So Yeah, the fun parts of
Yes.
tantra shadow work healing is moving through all of your blocks, your shadows, your alchemy, coming into your body, entering into divine waves of physical pleasure. So that's like the shadow stuff gets healed, divine waves of pleasure start happening in your body, in your present reality. And then there's the spiritual side. It's weaving the energetics and the quantum physics. So there's actually like quantifiable, mathematical, qualitative, evidential evidence that you can embody through sex energy. So let me put it this way, the long and the short. Bodies, a woman's body, and I say this often because I think we kind of forget it, we have the power to bring a soul, an energy outside of us, into the physical flesh to be a water breather for 9 months. A little fetus breathes water for 9 months inside a body and then births as a new vessel, an embodied vessel with a soul into this planet. It's a literal portal. It's a literal portal. It is so cosmically like mind blowing, but we normalize it. Oh, she just got knocked up. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, but like, do you know what that like process entailed? The power of energy. A man's cock has the magnetic pull and life force to enter into a woman and draw that energy in with such a force that he can push his full life force into that woman and create that life. That is super fucking charged power we're talking about here. We're talking about the most powerful energy on this planet because it has the power to transform energy into matter. It literally transforms energy into matter, into life, a whole new life. Now, when we're dealing with sex magic and sex energy, I get super passionate because people are like, oh, I want to manifest, I want life to be pleasurable. Well, if you can move it through your body with your sex energy and you can master your sexual energy, you can use the most powerful energetic on this planet to begin to maximize it for what life you want to call in and bring into this world. It doesn't have to be a baby. Spoiler alert. You can start to use sex magic. You can actually use that quantifiable energetic force that is created between bodies or the body to bring into this planet something that aligns with your field of energy to manifest a new life. And one thing I say is super important is your body is a conduit for energy. So we are like 70% water. Water is the biggest conductor for electricity. We have electromagnetic fields. Esoterics call it chakras. Other people call it neuroplexuses. We have plexuses of neurons that form clusters that send out electromagnetic pulses. Now, those clusters form because of our perceptive view and experience in the body, and that's where we get our blocks. When you're channeling your sex energy through each energy center and you're feeling it move and you're opening yourself, whether it's in a pleasure practice or with a partner, you're opening your fields with breath, sound, movement, and intention, and then pulling in your pleasure. You're able to tell your body it's safe to receive your desires. You're able to tell your body that you're open to it, and you're telling life itself, I'm receiving. Many of us have blocks to what we truly desire. So many people in business, oh, I want a 7-figure company. Okay, imagine you got 7 figures today in the bank account. I don't have the tax structure. We get closed. I want the man of my dreams. I used to always say this. I want the man of my dreams to walk through my front doorstep. My dad one day kindly said to me, Emma, if the man that you truly are saying you want walked through right now, got down on one knee and said, I want you to be my partner, you'd have a mental breakdown. You would not feel worthy. You would feel ugly. You would reject him. Why? You'd probably go binge drink or like go on like a fucking bender because every time someone who was good to me came into my life, my body felt threatened. I felt under threat because I've been through abuse. Many of us, we can't change our past, but it's in our bodies. So when we're able to link our desires and what we're calling in with pleasure and let our bodies feel pleasure around our desire, and we're in a union state of being seen in that vulnerability, where we're not rejected, where we're fully worthy, where we're opening to something bigger than ourselves and just fucking or pleasuring ourselves, and we're letting that life land, you become a conduit for your desires. You become a magnet for what you're calling into your life, and it manifests in different ways, in different forms. But on a biological level, you're ready to receive and create that life, grow that life, birth that life.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. Can you tell me more about a full body orgasm? What is a full body orgasm? How do I have one? Is it only for women or is it also for men? What's that all about?
Okay, amazing. So, full body orgasms, firstly, are fantastic, highly recommend. A full body orgasm is when all parts of your body are activated and in a state of orgasmic bliss. Now, a big thing I want to say about the biology of the body is most of us associate an orgasm with a ejaculation or a clitoral orgasm for women. So that's what we call a very high peak orgasm state. And if we don't have that state, we don't account it as an orgasm. And sometimes we ejaculate and it's like it doesn't even feel like a full orgasm. It's like, what was that? It was like this like weird thing. Did I come? Like, oh, because we're not sensitized. Heartbreaking moments. It does happen to the best of us. A full body orgasm is when your vessel is sensitized to all the levels of orgasmic sensation it can experience. It's when each of your erogenous zones, so women have more than men, but men have multiple, from your toes to your nose, to your ears, to your chest, to your hips, to your inner thighs, are open to experiencing pleasure. Now, a big thing I say when we're working with pleasure and understanding this is even with our own selves, can you allow yourself to be turned on when you touch your shoulder? Do you feel safe with someone just softly touching your inner thigh in intimacy? Do you feel resistance? Women, we're so used to just going straight to the clitoris or our nipples and that's it. We are desensitized to all of the places where we can feel orgasm. So a full body orgasm comes when you're connected in and open in your body to receiving pleasure and the different waves of it. As you begin to come into union and you build your orgasmic pleasure and you're breathing and you're opening and you're safe and you're transcending the mind and you're in this intuitive flow, suddenly the body clicks into its biological response, which is now hardwired to say, I know all my pleasure zones and my different levels activate. At that point, every part of you that has been sensitized to orgasm awakens. And what happens is a body, both man and woman, begin to wave into total ripples of orgasm, from your pinky finger to the eyes, to your mouth tickling, to laughing, to crying, to sweating. You go into these beautiful waves because your puppy has been trained and resensitized. Your minds are co-creating a place where they're out of the way and they're in divinity. And energetically, all of your fears aren't there anymore. So you don't have a block. You're just receiving the full power of your sexual energy. And this will activate all four corners of the planet, literally.
Yes, really awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Is it true that women, when they have an orgasm, actually can be able to drop DMT out, if that makes sense? Like to produce DMT on their own?
Yes, absolutely.
And then you have like really wild psychedelic kind of experiences during sex.
And men as well, both of us. So, no. Yes. So basically, DMT is naturally produced in our bodies, and
Yeah.
it's produced through melatonin production, which comes from our pineal gland.
Yes.
Your pineal gland, on a biological level, has little crystalline grids on it. It has little crystals that, when they get pressurized, push down onto the pituitary gland, and that explodes serotonin, dopamine, and melatonin simultaneously. These are the hormones that create a psychedelic experience. That's why we take acid or LSD. It spikes your dopamine, MDMA, serotonin, and dopamine. So, How do we apply more pressure onto the crystalline grid of the pineal and into the pituitary gland? Well, my friends, this happens through cerebral fluid. Cerebral fluid is basically the fluid that runs up your spine all the way to your head. And that pressure basically starts to build and it pushes onto your pineal gland. So that's your third eye opening. It actually is a beautiful gland in your endocrine system that creates a hormonal response that gives you a outer body spiritual experience. Now, how does sex come into this? Your cerebral fluid moves through your system on a healthy body, 12 hours, from the tailbone to the jawbone. They do these tiny little pinches that squeeze the fluid up the spine. Now, when you're in heightened, open, energetic sexual experiences where all of your plexuses and your body are open, and you're in breath, sound, and movement where you are weaving your body, or your kundalini is activated and you're actually moving, breathing, and letting the body open, you're pushing that cerebral fluid up your spine at a much faster rate. When a man is hitting your cervix or hitting your G spots, what's happening is your vagus nerve gets activated, which contracts all the muscles up the body and pushes that fluid into your crystalline grid for out-of-body experiences. The same happens with a man. The more you're breathing, moving, and fucking, the more you are opening your mouth and relaxing your jaw and letting yourself literally drool on your girlfriend because she's so amazing. What's happening, side note, please drool, don't feel ashamed, it's gorgeous. What's happening is you're activating your central nervous system, your muscular system, and your endocrine system into a place of full rest and repair where you actually have higher levels of neurochemicals and you have outer body experiences together. Basic 3 rules in Tantra, and you know this from me: breath, sound, and movement.
Yes.
Breathe deeply, make the noises, open your mouth, move your spine, have intimacy in the body and safety. It manifests.
Yes, awesome. So I just want to clarify this point even more. It's like possible to have like out of body experiences during sex, guys. So you can have like literally, you can have like full psychedelic experiences without taking any drugs during sex. So
Yes.
that's the level you can get to if you really do the inner work, if you do the sexual healing, if you do the intimacy games or like the intimacy connection things, and if you really build up tension and you do all the things, that's the level you get. So just for you, like for the record, like to really set it like a new standard for it.
And I can say on that, like in my own journey, these practices have been profound. Astral projecting during sex, seeing numbers, seeing things coming back into my body, writing them down, my partner making that amount the next day in a business deal, like crazy stuff manifesting in real life, like big numbers, big moves, because you're in these states. And it really does. And I say this with a miracle because 3 years ago, I couldn't even have an orgasm. I couldn't even bleed. I was so closed. My yoni was so icy. So this is possible for all of us, and it's amazing.
Yes. And as you heard, Emma can explain it all like on a biological level. So it's not just some woo-woo, there's also science behind it. So that's like really
Science and spirit. Very important, the 3 S's.
that's really amazing. Okay, really awesome. A question. What are like the best toys to use in the bedroom for men and women? The best toys, the best gadgets.
The best gadgets. Love that question. Okay. First and foremost, for my woman, get yourself a yoni egg, please. You can use it when you're having sex with a partner and for your own pleasure practice. It's also really beautiful as a woman if you have a personal pleasure practice with toys and then you bring them into the partnership, because a man gets a sense of reverence. He has either heard or is aware that you use those toys and have deep senses of pleasure. Men are curious. They can't help themselves. They have big imaginations. When you bring that tool into the bedroom, they get a reverence. They see you as deeply worthy and they kind of respect or might be even a little bit nervous of what to do. It creates a fun polarity. So, best tool for a woman to desensitize your yoni, to de-armor, to heal, and to activate yourself for higher levels of orgasm, a yoni egg. So that's just for us. As for tools, a lot of people use vibrators or strap-ons, all these things. One thing I would say from a tantric perspective, I never say there's a right or a wrong, but I would say be conscious of what you're using. And I say that because most of us are desensitized mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Vibrators and things that buzz actually desensitize the nerve endings. The clitoris and the cock, the head of the cock, have up to 8,000 nerve endings. They're very sensitive. But if you're pounding that with an electro field that's vibrating, it creates a peak, but it desensitizes many of the nerve endings. We want to create sensitive nerve endings for maximum amounts of pleasure. Takes more work, has a way longer output of pleasure and wave energy in your body. So I recommend crystal wands, crystal dildos, or glass dildos are really fun to play with if you're wanting those kinds of toys. But if you're not wanting other things penetratively, guys, coconut oil and rose oil, blindfolds are super juicy. I just had a really good client call today with one of my clients where he was like, I want to learn how to receive and my girlfriend wants to be more wild in the bedroom. How do we create that? And I was like, babe, bring yourself a blindfold. Get her to blindfold you, lie and receive, and let her feel safe to go wild on top of you. Blindfolds are super fun because they create safety. If you're scared of being seen, for instance, for women, but we want to go wild, but we don't want the man to see us in case our tummy has a roll, or I don't know, like women come up with a million different reasons why men love it, but a blindfold. Feathers, roses, beautiful smells. P.S. Just the way you smell is very tantric. Be clean when you go into a sexual experience is a beautiful way to create intimacy. So there's a range, but I would say steer away from anything electronic and that vibrates. Steer towards crystals, things that you can really create as sacred, and play with your senses. So eyes, smell, taste, touch, sound. If you're creating a sensational experience, work on your senses. A side note, a good playlist goes super far. It's something I definitely send to people I work with. Create a playlist that you can go on a sound journey. A lot of men are like, how do I go for 2 hours and what do I do for those 2 hours? Plan it. The masculine sets the vision. What kind of sex do you want? Do you want to have super raunchy sex that then becomes intimate and sweet? Go from rap to some drum music into classical. Have a playlist that takes you on a sound journey. It's so, for the feminine, we love going on an adventure. It's like, oh, what's the next song he's going to play for us? Where are we going to go now? Like, what do we get to do? You get to play. So you get to be inventive, but yeah, for sure, oil, lots of lubricant, lots of skin stuff that makes the body soft and gentle. Women aren't always wet every time of the month because of our cycles. We have different vaginal fluid. So create a space where she doesn't feel unworthy if she doesn't get wet. Sometimes we don't. Even if we're super turned on, it's not that time of the month for us where we're not ovulating. We're a bit creamier or thicker. Have coconut oil where you can just massage her yoni, get it all oily, get it beautiful, touch her, lick her, be with her. And then she's thinking, wow, my pussy's so glorious, rather than, oh my God, I'm not wet and he's trying to like ram it into me and now it hurts. It's a great tool, coconut oil. It's cheap and easy to buy. Flowers, sacred spaces, sounds. all of it are going to evoke a sensational drop-in. Lighting, another one. If you want good sex, get good lighting. Even if that means getting a side note for guys, like practical stuff. One thing I always do, my tricks of the trade wherever I travel, for my own pleasure practice and with my partner, I have a pink scarf and I just put it over a lamp because immediately the whole room has a soft pink red color. It feels sexy. You walk into that room, it's like, wow, this is a mood. This is a vibe. With a little incense stick, a little rose, some soft music, coconut oil next to the bed. I mean, when you enter that room, whether you're alone or with a partner, people are like, something activates in your body. Immediately, you're entering into the zone. Have a mirror. P.S. Big one for fun. Humans like to watch. We like watching. Why do we watch pole dancers? Why do we watch pornography? Why do we watch ourselves dancing? Why do we not watch? Because we want to watch, but we're nervous. We don't feel safe. Get a mirror. Fun thing in the bedroom for guys, women like watching themselves more than men in the bed, but they get embarrassed about that. There are a lot of studies. 100% of men said they watch the woman in the mirror, 90% of women said they watch themselves. Women are beautiful in bed. Men are too, but women are absolutely fascinating to watch an orgasm, to watch being entered, to see it. So if you're wanting to create safety for your woman, let yourself be blindfolded, get her a big mirror, get some coconut oil and say, baby, I'm all yours. Go wild and have fun watching yourself. It's
Awesome.
the permission slip. Oh.
Awesome. Okay, let's make like a little list of like
Yes.
fun things to explore in the bedroom. Let's call it like this. So you said like, okay, blindfolding and then going wild. So what about like all those like connection games or like all those rituals? What about, for example, eye gazing? What about circular breathing? Like what are like games, rituals we can like incorporate in our bedroom?
Into the bedroom.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so my best of to help, and I always say this when you're energetically connecting, is use the chakra system as a way to know what level and what game or connection point you can have with your partner and pick. It's actually quite fun when you can consciously talk about this. So start with your higher chakras, for instance. This is your soul star, your crown, your third eye. These are places where you enter into a bedroom and you are witnessing the divinity of one another. There's a beautiful practice called transfiguration where you sit and you play a track for about 3 minutes. And before you look at each other, you breathe and you feel each other's energy. Sit opposite someone you want to be intimate with and feel their soul, eyes closed, just breathing. You're going to start to feel them. They're going to start to feel you. And it's like you start to sense like, oh, that's a whole being. Then open your eyes and look at them, not as someone you want to penetrate but as the divine. There's God force in this being. There's reverence. This person is about to let me enter them. Write down intentions. It's really fun shadow desire work. So if you move to your throat, where you open a space where for 3 minutes you get to speak any desire, anything you want, and then you stop. And then your partner gets to speak any desire they want and you stop. You don't talk about it afterwards. You just voice it and you let it be held in the container. It's a super juicy practice. At that point, you have the opportunity to deepen in or say no, but you know you've actually gone through it. Play it as a game. 3 minutes when you're ready. All yours, deepest desires. Sometimes it's emotional, like it's like, wow, actually, like these are parts. Other times it's like, damn, okay, she is kinkier than I remember. Create the space. Breast massage and body touch is a super fun game. Activating the body. Get yourself a little rose, a blindfold, a dry brush, your tongue, coconut oil. Massage each other. Play with textures. Play with almost touching and not. For women, massage around a man's cock. That's where he starts with his energy, but you don't want to touch it. You want to build it. So playing with sensual massage and different parts of the body. So no hands. How can you really feel them? Can you breathe them? Can you lick them? Can you touch them? Start getting into these more fun ways where it's not stereotypical, because that's where tantra starts. You're getting into the body and the sensations. There's lots of other fun games like role playing and blindfolding. Do them. If you have had an argument, play fight. This is a big one for the bedroom. If you feel there's tension, like solar plexus stuff, and you're like kind of fucked off, but also kind of turned on, but also wanting to validate, like, no, dude, like there's stuff here and you want to get it out, undress each other to a level, or undress yourself to a level. It's really fun. Like, get aggressive, like square up, take your shirt off and play fight. If you have boxing gloves, honestly, men, you're going to find it hilarious what your little girl does when she gets her boxing gloves on. Like, women really want a chance to punch you like they do with love. We just want to be like, you just don't get it. Fight with each other. Get full on. These are things that most couples never get to experience in their bedroom play, and it brings such enjoyment to the partnership. Non-verbal communication and release of energy that opens up a space for deepened intimacy and embodiment. So yes, play with mirrors and ways of being blindfolded. Play with touch that's not from the hands. Play with connecting energetically, but feeling each other in that divinity. Play with fighting and your inner child. Create sacred spaces where you guys can land and do that together.
Yes, really awesome stuff. And as you might realize, guys, sexuality is like a fast track to the divine. So if right now you're not much into spirituality, just go and explore sexuality and you will end up in spirituality. Like in most cases.
Yes,
So that's,
absolutely, for sure.
yeah, it's like a fast track to the divine. So, a question. It all sounds cool and everything sounds really fun, but what if I come like in 2 minutes? How do I prolong my ejaculation as a man?
A couple things. Firstly, if you do come in the first 2 minutes, my prayer is that you have learned to connect deeply with your cock and love him and honor him. So just that's the first thing for men, whether you're in tantra, not in tantra. If you come, and for women, if your man comes fast, do not shame him. Love his cock. Love that he opened up. Love that his body expressed, and know that there's a lot of ways to have orgasmic experiences that do not need a strong, hard erection. First and foremost, it's a big topic. I get like super strong on it because we're not here to bring shame into sex. We're here to bring shamelessness. And all sorts of things happen in sex. Sometimes we do. However, for men, there are really powerful techniques to learn how to master your sexual energy with your cock. And of course, the biggest one for embodiment is sublimation, which is a 5-step process, technically speaking, where you learn how to draw your sexual energy into your body by understanding your scale of pleasure and how you can actually allow yourself to stop before you hit a peak moment. And that requires breath and presence and learning how to prolong it over an amount of time, so that when you're with your partner, you're able to say, hey, babe, I'm reaching my point of, oh, I'm over the edge. Let's slow down. Let me breathe with you. For women, we start to realize, wow, he's not fucking me for a goal. I can be present, and it's okay if he gets soft, and we can build back up, and we get to have even longer sex, and my body gets even more open, and we have even more fun. And then when a man does ejaculate, it's conscious. It's like, okay, now we're ready. Let's climax together. So a big step for men is learning sublimation, understanding the 5 steps of it, and learning how to practice that in your own pleasure practice so you can bring that into the bedroom.
Yes. Yeah, it all comes down to practice basically, and you can practice it during self-pleasure. You can like self-pleasure, masturbate, and then you can like just like have fun with it and see how what's your edge, and then you can through your breath you can lift your sexual energy up the spine, then down to the belly and all that stuff. So that's like really cool sexual magic or like sexual healing being done there. And a question for the women. Okay, we men, we are always ready, like always, let's go, let's go, let's go. We are stable each day, but for women there's this thing, once in a month, the moon. Like as a male speaking,
Once in a month.
like all my life I didn't have any clue about what is exactly happening, and like what is like changing, what is like. So tell us about, give the male audience a proper introduction to like the moon cycle, the 4-in-1 woman, the hormones, the different, when she's ready, when she's not ready, and all the stuff. Give us like a 5 minute summary.
Drop.
Yes.
Here we go. It's such a huge topic in knowing how to penetrate the feminine, is actually understanding how the feminine body works. It's a big thing because even if you know everything as a man and you're practicing and you're in your cock and you're anchored, if you haven't mastered understanding a woman's body, you don't know what you're entering into, and you could be killed, slaughtered, or taken to heaven. And it's like a catch-22. And a lot of times men enter with fear, or they just enter because they're like, fuck it, I'm just going in, which can result in catastrophe and also disconnect between each other. How do you master this? I pray that the women are learning their cycles and understanding it. A lot of women don't. So this is something I want men to know too. A lot of women are blissfully unaware of their own hormone cycle. And for you as a man, if you learn these techniques, you can actually help your woman embody deeper into her body too. So a lot of guys are like, oh, my wife or my girlfriend doesn't know that. Well, don't be afraid to let her know or open up that space. You can be a light for her there. It's a game changer. The basics of what men need to know is that a woman's menstrual cycle does not happen once a month. It is the whole month, every month. We are constantly in a menstrual cycle, and there are 4 phases of our cycle. And I call it the 4 seasons because it kind of helps our minds. We have our winter, which is when we bleed, and that's 3 to 5 days. Then we have our spring. So that's when we are a follicle. And I'm going to go into the energetics of all of it. But as you can imagine, spring is a bit more springy. We have our summer. That's when we ovulate. And then we have our autumn. That's when we go into PMS. That's when we're luteal. That's when everything's falling apart a little bit. The energy of it is that day 1 of the cycle is when we start bleeding. So men, if you're ever tracking your woman, ask her, when is she bleeding or what day of her cycle is she on? It's going to determine her hormones. A woman's hormones determines her sex energy, her libido, and her activation. But here's what you need to know, usually around women. When we bleed, we are very vulnerable and inward. And every bleed will have a different energetic because we're actually releasing a whole month's worth of energy out of our body. It's our life force. It's an egg. It could have been a baby. We're purging it out. Some months we may be having a lighter bleed and really wanting a little wand of light and support and depth. It is a time when our cervix is super low, so we can have cervical orgasms. It's a very sensitive, deep, juicy, beautiful, intimate time. But we need time to warm up. This is a time, winter, we're cold. So if your woman is on her bleed and that's something that you guys are happy to be in intimately with, that's the time as a man you want to be creating sacred spaces. Run her a bath, massage her feet, tell her she's beautiful, eye gaze with her, breast massage, gentle breathing, check in, don't talk or ask too many questions. Warm her up with your field to create that opening in her body. Phase number 2 is right after the bleed, and it's usually a shock to men that a woman can be so cold and inward, and then suddenly we are wearing white silk. Guess what phase of my cycle I'm in? We are linear, we are awake, we are alive, we are sexy, we are on fire. We have come through the depths. Our testosterone increases, our luteinizing hormone increases, our estrogen and progesterone start to increase. We basically have a hormonal high. That lasts for about 10 days. This is when our body is preparing to have a baby, so our cervical fluid starts to form again. We might be a little bit dry, which means we're not fertile just yet, but our sex energy increases, and also we become much more masculine. This is our masculine time. So you might find your woman gets strong, independent, don't need no man. And she's like, I didn't even need you last week. I've got this. Don't fuck with my routine. I'm gymming. I'm sexy. I know I'm sexy. As a man, when you're entering into a woman in that field, you want to meet her with play and joy, not controlling, not trying to recriminate her for who she was 2 days ago because she was a different woman. You just want to play with her. It's a really fun time. This is where play fighting, mirror work, being juicy, you can really get more active. Even like slutty fucking, that's a good time. The following week, around day 14 to 19, we ovulate. So this is when our yonis become super wet. Guys, I love you so much, but if a woman is dripping wet and you haven't done too much, it's more than likely because of her ovulation, not so much all you. Humility is key in these moments. Ask her. It's also a time to be wise, condomize if she is not on birth control. This is where a woman can fall pregnant. Our yonis get wet, because that fluid grabs your semen, sucks it up, and gives us a baby. So it's something to note. It's a time when we're super juicy, we're emotional, we are loving, we are in our bodies, we're less worried about our routine that we were freaking out about last week. Now we just want you. We might be emotional or aggressive because estrogen can create that in the system. As a man, this is your time where you wine dine 69. This is where you go all out, you plan your sexy dates, you get the mood going, the music, you tell her she's beautiful, you buy her the dress and the lingerie and put it on the bed. Do not do that when she's little because she might feel fat and unattractive, and then she's like, why do I have to wear lingerie? Ovulation time is a good time to get sexy. So tracking the cycle, and you will see it with your woman, you will pick it up quite quickly. The final phase is right before the bleed. This is really what a lot of us dread, and it breaks my heart because it can actually be a really beautiful week in our cycle, but we have a very pressurized society where we need to be linear, doing our shit, working, cooking, cleaning, fucking. It's too much in our luteal cycle. Our brain waves change into beta and we become chaotic. We become hungry, we become sleepy, we become emotional. I say this is the most powerful time for deepening our inner energetics in intimacy. A woman's deepest shadows come to the surface because our subconscious mind is much more present. As a man, you get to deepen into your presence and into your triggers. So use this time in sex and intimacy to really meet your shadow selves. The selves that do get aggressive, the selves that don't feel enough, the selves that do go through rejection, because a woman will straight up tell you no, but I want you, but I don't. If you have a mental script of fear of rejection, it's going to come to the surface. This is your time to heal through love in the body and the hormones, but be prepared. Women during that phase need a lot of presence, a lot of silence, and a lot of love. So whether it's touch or feeling into her field or giving her space, it's the unknown chaotic week. Intuition, presence, and really moving through the emotional shit together can create the most incredible, juicy sexual times. Again, her vaginal fluid will change then, so coconut oil is good. You're going to want lubricant. She won't be so wet anymore. So just something to note for the body.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. I also want to clarify at this point because like this was really important for me like to know. Guys, you have to imagine like the hormones of like a woman, they change like they have like 4 phases. So basically for every phase, the woman is like a different person. So it's
Yes.
actually not one person, it's like 4 persons in one body. So you need to know the different 4 persons to know
Yes.
her completely. And then you can
Yes.
adapt to each of her person
Eric's getting
or
nervous.
phases in which she is right now, in which part of her cycle is she right now. So that's like really
Yes.
important to know, my friends. So now like more or less like the last topic. I want a step-by-step guide. A step-by-step guide of how to make a woman come.
Wow. Okay. The step-by-step guide. Whew. Amarita is basically female ejaculation in Tantra, and that is how a woman will ejaculate or push out. And yes, for my women and men who are watching, this can happen every single time. It is possible because ejaculation or female ejaculation is actually it's a fluid from a gland. So it's something that gets stimulated in a gland inside the woman's body that with the right amount of stimulation and pressure and sensitivity inside the yoni will create the push and excretion of the liquid. That being said, to activate that gland and for the pressure of the muscles to push on it enough inside the yoni or the vagina needs to be sensitive. It needs to be sensitized. It needs to be able to have mind-body connection. Most women have very tense, hardened, or energetically blocked wombs because they don't feel safe. So, if you want female ejaculation, the first thing is you want a woman to feel safe in your presence so her body will open because biologically she might be feeling resistance in her field. So that's step one. And all of these different practices, communicating, touch, breast massage, eye gazing, building oxytocin between the two of you, giving yourselves time, giving yourselves a lot of time to build oxytocin is beautiful because then the body's open. So that's the first thing. But if you're talking about just the pure female ejaculation and how to create it, it's long, prolonged stimulation of the G spot and the A spots that basically allow the
What's
muscles
the A
to.
spot?
We're gonna.
Okay.
That allows the muscle to basically engorge with blood and then get activated and push and ejaculate. The A spot is basically if you have a yoni and you enter inside it, we have different erogenous zones or pleasure zones inside our yoni space. The G spot is a lot of people write raps about this. They're like, it's like this great feminine mystery. I'm like, it is literally 1 centimeter in at the top. A lot of times women don't feel it or men don't because it's not engorged. So there's no sensitivity. The muscle has no blood flow. So you want to awaken that yoni and stimulate it and let it be super open. You're going to feel the G spot immediately and it feels like the roof of your mouth. Those little like dimples, that's the G spots. The A spot is about 2 to 3 centimeters deeper on the top side of the yoni. So here's your G spot, here's your A spots. The muscle in between is what begins to engorge, and those are the 2 big pleasure pressure zones. So if you're wanting to stimulate an ejaculation, fingers are amazing because you can really move them. You can use your cock too. That being said, you want to be at an angle and at a position where she feels safe with you and your cock can move to those 2 places in her yoni. So elevated hips, doggy style are good ways. You want the hips to be tilted so that you're actually hitting the spots with your cock.
Awesome. So guys, as you might realize, it all starts with presence, basically. So if you want to be like the best sex partner on earth, you need to have like a really strong presence. And how do you get a really strong presence? Through a lot of inner work. So sexuality leads you to inner work, leads you to the divine, leads you to God as fast as nothing else.
True story. And your woman will squirt and ejaculate. She will worship your cock. She will feel open to love you, and you will have full body waves of orgasm. It will be your normal. It will be your normal.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, last question, because I knew that like 1 or 2 years ago, that were like the thoughts I was having. You know, everything, it sounds cool, it sounds nice, but it sounds like a lot of work from the male part. You know, like the woman, okay, like I have to do like a bath her, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to develop my presence, then I have to do this, then I have to finger her, then I have to do a massage, you know, all those stuff. Like
Mhm.
what do I as a male get out of like a fully embodied sexual woman?
Wow. I feel like I should call my boyfriend.
What's the price? Tell me.
His response is, dude, just do it. He's really sweet. What a man gets from a fully embodied woman is multiple different levels. The first is you as a man are going to tap into her orgasmic field. Women are more orgasmic than men by nature. When you activate all of her orgasmic zones and you plug in, it's like plugging into an electric field of sex energy that you've never experienced. You know how your numb cock feels? Imagine that being put inside the most powerful energy zone that is embodying and serving you. The feminine devotes to you. You're tapping in to something that is so powerful, and she is riding you with all that she has. You're receiving that energy. So you're literally receiving the fruits of your labor just in your body. Secondly, emotionally, you are seen, you are adored, and you are loved. When a woman is in that level of orgasm, she is so in awe of you. Men are like, oh, I want a woman to worship me. You don't have to want. She's going to cry. She's going to lick your cock. She is going to do anything. She's going to lick your tears. She's going to want you in her, on her. She's going to beg you to come on her face because she's emotionally so devoted. And you as a man are seen and you know it. Like, it's not even like a sexualized thing. It's like, oh my God, mentally. There's something that shifts profoundly in the mind of a man who's been with a woman like that. You walk out of that bedroom into the boardroom and you're like, I can fuck. Like, I am ready. I am aligned. I am powerful. You know something about yourself that's different. And what then starts to shift for you in your life is that you start to be a master manifester. You understand energetics, you understand your power, you understand what you're capable of as a man, and you can take that into every area of your life. You can take that into your gym workout, you can take that into your diet, you can take that into your deals, you can take that into your clients, you can take that into your children, you can take that into your partner. You can penetrate the world with your embodied truth that you're receiving through really understanding and mastering the feminine and then plugging in and feeling that pleasure.
Yes, 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 definitely. And last week or like 2 weeks ago, I heard like the quote, "A conscious cock is the best medicine for any woman." So, guys, it's like a superpower to have. It's like a real
And
superpower.
it's beyond. It's like you will never understand what it does for us as women. I cannot explain it. I literally thank my partner for making love to me and I cry and he doesn't always, he's just like, I think every man should put this in a list of like things he should want that a woman cries when with gratitude after you make love to
Bucket
her.
list.
But it happens for us as women. Oh my God. Yes, please. Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, those were basically all the topics I had. As you might realize, the audience, my lovely audience, it's amazing what you can, what new levels are possible if you dive into those topics. So for everyone who's like willing or ready or like curious enough to really explore their sexuality, really deepen their connection to the partner, to themselves, to deepen their intimacy, to like do the work and have like all the full body orgasms, have like the non-ordinary states of consciousness, I can like highly recommend like working together with Emma. I worked with Emma together for like the last 3 months. So
Mhm.
highly recommended. It's like really, really powerful stuff. Also a lot of like energy healing, a lot of like the stuff, a lot of inner work. So I can like highly, highly, highly recommend it if you really want to get like your intimacy, your pleasure, your self pleasure, your connection, and your sexuality to the next level. And I can tell you, it will lead you to spirituality really, really fast, and like to connection to source, to connection to God, you could say. So, Emma, you can also have like, you can also have like share a little bit about. You can just like share a few sentences if you would like to, just about anything.
Well, firstly, just to say thank you. Like the fact that we get to have these spaces and as human beings we can connect and open is so powerful. And it's my deepest honor, A, working with you has been the dream, and B, knowing the power of what happens and is capable when we have a method, when we are able to embody into our essential energy, when we are able to do the work. And really, for anyone who is listening to this, who has your doubts, who have your blocks, wherever you are, I pray that this is a message and an ability for you to know it's possible. Like all of the giggles, the orgasms aside, my journey and my story and my heart is to say, like, you can go from being rock bottom to really being so empowered and able to share your message and your truth in your authentic way. And it gets to be super juicy and it gets to be super fun and you get to be in your pleasure fully. And this is something that's available, that's possible for all of us. And I pray if you're at that point in your journey, go balls deep, baby. And
Awesome.
breathe.
Breath, sound, and movement, guys. Breath, sound, and
Breath, sound,
movement.
and movement.
Okay, Emma, how can I reach you? How do I best contact you?
The best way to get hold of me is via Instagram. That's my best. Drop in mswain_coaching. There you will find links to my podcast as well as my masterclasses. You can contact me there and we are here for it. That's my favorite way to contact.
Yes, yes, yes. And in case you didn't know, Emma is the next weeks in Germany, somewhere around Germany. So maybe if you want to meet her in person, maybe there's like the possibility.
Yes.
So
we are here. We are in Germany. So definitely tap in if you're feeling a yes, and in person, I am in the country.
yes, yes. Okay, really, really, really awesome stuff. I really thank you very much, Emma, for like taking the time to like spoil all the secrets about sexuality, about women. And one thing I want to emphasize, like if you look at like society, sexuality is like the topic that's the most suppressed one, or like the most suppressed one.
Mm.
So it has like one of the highest growth potentials in the world because it's like so suppressed by basically anybody. So if you really want to dive deep into this topic, I can highly recommend Emma. So reach out to her, maybe even meet her in person, and then tell me about your experience.
Tell me the details. We want to know.
Okay, guys, that's it from our side. I hope you had fun. I certainly had like the fun of my life. I had really fun like listening to you, Emma. And I'm really thankful, really grateful for you that you like took the time and spoiled all the secrets. And I hope you, dear listener, also got something out of it. And if you have any questions, drop me a question or drop Emma a question on Instagram. And that's for my part. I'm out. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you, my love.
Bye bye.
Bye.